Morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Today we move on to the next topic. It is the I use language section of uh, the fourth module. This is page number 127 of your textbook. Those who have the textbook with them, you can refer to that text, page number 127 of the text. That is of the print text, page 127. If you are using a PDF version, it is page 141. This is the language section, as I said, of the fourth module, the last module. Here you can see a paragraph which contains two different kinds of sentences. One kind of it is just written as an ordinary sentence. The other kinds of sentences are put within inverted commas. See, there are some sentences which are put within inverted commas. So this is one sentence. Another sentence which is put within inverted commas with this one. And there's the next sentence which is put within inverted commas here. Again, there is another sentence which is put within inverted commas. And finally, the last sentence which is put within inverted commas is this. So what is the significance? What is the importance? Or what is the use of putting certain sentences within inverted commas? What does it mean to put with certain sentences within inverted commas? What is the purpose of doing that? എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയാണ് അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? What does it indicate that I put certain sentences within inverted commas? Anyone? Wait, yes, Sharmini. So the conversation of somebody, that is exactly the answer that I was looking for. When you are talking about a dialogue or a conversation, you put it in inverted commas. If you read novels, these are very common. You can see it in stories, novels, etc. If you see something that is put within inverted commas, it directly indicates that particular sentence is a conversation which was exactly spoken by that person. There is no change involved in that. So that is the indication which these inverted commas give, that the words that are within that inverted commas are exactly as spoken by that person. In a language, we call it direct speech. This is called direct speech. That is why in the question also you find this directly spoken. Okay, so how do we identify those directly spoken sentences? By looking at the inverted commas. So this is a direct speech. This is directly spoken. This also is directly spoken. This is directly spoken. This is directly spoken. It is easy to identify those sentences because all those sentences will be within inverted commas. So that is called direct speech. And there is another kind of speech, which is the when you hear somebody saying something like this in this conversation, and you later have to talk about that to somebody else, then you are actually reporting what you heard. Okay, so that kind of reporting is called indirect speech or reported speech. These are the two major categories, direct speech and indirect speech. So what is it? What actually is it? Why do you use it? What is the purpose of it? എന്താണത് എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ this is the thing. What is meant by reported speech is this. Suppose somebody says, I am feeling ill. Okay, there is a boy who says that he is feeling ill. That is, that person is sick. That is what the boy is saying, I am feeling ill. So it is heard by somebody, and somebody has a conversation about this same boy who said that he is feeling ill. And so he says, where is Tom? He is asking. And he said that he was feeling ill. So what is meant by reported speech? It is the kind of language, or it is the grammar we use if you want to tell another person about a conversation that you had with somebody. Conversation always takes place when you report a conversation, it is always in the past tense, isn't it? So when a conversation that has taken place before you meet somebody, when you want to talk about it to somebody else, that kind of language, that kind of grammar that we use is called reported speech. So it can be a telephone call, it can be an interview, it can be a news, it can be a story, anything. When we have to tell about the same conversation to somebody else, the kind of language that you use at that point of time is called reported speech or indirect speech. Are you able to understand this? Is it clear to you? At least this much, is it clear? Is it okay? Can we move? Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you for those responses. So we see that there are certain changes that have happened in the sentences, isn't it? Yes, thank you for those responses. I am feeling ill, he says. So that I am feeling ill has changed. I am feeling ill has changed. It changed to, what did it change to? He was feeling ill. The feeling ill remained the same, but the I changed to he, and the am changed to was. So these are the changes that have happened in the sentence that you see in the screen. I changed it to he and am changed it to was. So such changes happen when we make a reporting of what we heard, when we convert a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. You will remember that we had made such remarks also before, that we can change a sentence from one form to another. But when you change it, there is no change in meaning. Only the kind of emphasis or the kind of purpose for it is used is different. So we had discussed changing sentences from one form to another. We had discussed that there are four different kinds of sentences. That is, one is affirmative sentence or a declarative sentence. Okay, declarative sentence. Then we have imperative sentences, which are either commands or requests. Then we have questions, which are called interrogative sentences. That is, they are of two questions, yes or no questions, and WH questions. These are the two kinds of questions, interrogative sentences, and finally exclamatory sentences. We also discussed that all these four different kinds of sentences can be interchanged from one form into another. ഒരു ഫോമിന് വേറൊരു ഫോമിലേക്ക് മാറ്റാൻ പറ്റും. അതായത് ഒരു അഫർമേറ്റീവ് സെൻറ്റൻസസിനെ എനിക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഇൻട്രോഗേറ്റീവ് സെൻറ്റൻസ് ആകാം. വാട്ട് ഡു യു നീഡ് ടു ഡു? ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ദിസ് ഈസ് എൻ അഫർമേറ്റീവ് സെൻറ്റൻസ്. ദിസ് ഇസ് എൻ അഫർമേറ്റീവ് സെൻറ്റൻസ്. ഒരു ഡിക്ലറേറ്റീവ് സെൻസ് ആണ്. യു ആർ ഹിയർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു അഫർമേറ്റീവ് സെൻസ് ആണ്. ഹൗ ക്യാൻ ഐ ചേഞ്ച് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ ടു എ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ? I can add a question word. What is that question word I can hear? Suppose I add a question word, why? Okay. I can ask, or I can make it into an yes or no question. How can I make it into an yes or question? You can just change the word order and make it into an yes or no question. How can I make this into an yes or no question? പിന്നെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു yes or no question ആക്കി മാറ്റാൻ പറ്റുക? Wonderful. Yes. Thank you for those responses. Yes. Are you here? Yes. That is the correct answer. You just actually change the type of sentence. Because it is a question, we also add a question mark at the end. Yes, as Aparna has put it rightly there. You need to add a question mark also. Change the word order, then also add a question mark. Another way into which I can change it into a question, I can change it into a WH question also. I can just add a WH word and then add the same structure. Then I can make it into a WH question also. Okay, so such changes are possible. So similar changes also happen in reported speech. We will come to that. Before that, let us do some small exercise of changing sentences from one form into another. There are some set of questions which are given here. Hope it is visible to you. Okay, so we have the task is you have to change the following questions into statements. So statement means declarative sentence, affirmative sentence, a plain statement, a plain sentence. So how can we change these into statements? Derivatives ആണ്. അതിനെ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആക്കി മാറ്റുന്നത്? So first one is, are you ready? So when you make it into a statement, the question mark is deleted, the question mark is removed, and then we change the word order. So how can I change it into a plain statement, a plain sentence? Are you ready? Can be changed? How can you change it into a statement? Yes, that is right, Nandana. It is. You are ready. Yes. There are many people who have responded. You are ready. And you just put a full stop. So instead of a question mark, you put a full stop because it is a plain statement. Okay. Similarly, for the other sentences also, you can make changes like this. So this is the sentence. You come tomorrow. What will I do? I will just change the word order. I will uh, just change the word order, remove the uh, question mark, and then it is possible to change it. So will you come tomorrow, Surya Anjana? You will come tomorrow. You will come tomorrow. Okay, this is next one is slightly more tricky because there is an auxiliary which is added to make it a question. ചില plain statements question ആക്കി മാറ്റണമെങ്കിൽ you need to add an auxiliary verb, that is helping verb. Be, have, do എന്നുള്ളതാണ് helping verbs. ഈ helping verbs question ആക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. But when you make it into a statement, we can remove that question word. We can remove that question word and add the tense to the main verb itself. So because it is past, so did can be removed, and the last question mark also can be removed, and the tense can be added to the verb. Verbal തന്നെ tense indicate ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. So can I change it into a statement? I can just remove that auxiliary, add the tense. The tense is the past tense. So it can be easily done. Just add the tense to the verb. Wonderful, Nandana. That is right. He applied for the job. Yes. Anu, Jirsha, Aparna, PS. That is right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. Okay. These sentences are okay. Are you able to hear now? Next one is what is your plan? There is a slight change that you have to make. We cannot use that is when you make it into a statement. Statement ആകുമ്പോൾ is use ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല അവിടെ. So you use another auxiliary which is called have. Okay, there are three auxiliaries. Be forms ആണ് is, was, where ഒക്കെ. Then ഈ മൂന്നുമാണ് auxiliary verbs. So here these are the three main Very good, Anjana. It is, you have a plan is the statement. That's right. Next one. Surya, you can do may not go well with it, but you can also make use of make. You make a plan is also okay. Do yeah, that's right, Surya. You, so that good idea. You can words also, not just the primary auxiliary. Okay. So the next one is does he go to his office? Does he go to his office? So we can remove that auxiliary. Remove that auxiliary does. So after removing that auxiliary verb, add the tense to the main verb. So we remove that question mark also at the end, put it and put a full stop at the end. So the sentence will begin with he. Change it into that does. Yes, that is right. That is right. So many responses are there. He goes to his office is correct. Great. Thank you for those responses. Anjana, Parana, Nandana. Yes, he goes to his office is correct. Great. So many people have responded. The next one is easy. You just need to remove the auxiliary and change the word order. Auxiliary മാറ്റിയിട്ട് word order change ചെയ്താൽ you can easily ഓക്സിലറിനെ വേർഡ് ഒന്നും മാറ്റണ്ട, ഓക്സിലറിയെ അങ്ങോട്ട് ഒന്ന് മാറ്റിയാൽ മതി. You don't have to remove anything. You don't have to remove the auxiliary. You can just change the word order and it will become a proper sentence. You don't have to remove anything. You just have to remove the question mark. Question mark മാത്രം മാറ്റിയാൽ മതി ഈ സെന്റൻസിൽ. Yes, I can call you later. Canum കൂടെ വേണം. I can call you later. Yes, that is right. That's right. Thank you for those responses. I can call you later. Great. Okay, the next one is, did he apply for the job? Here you can remove that auxiliary did and add the tense to the main verb, that is apply. Because it is in the past tense, it will become applied. Okay, that is how we, right? Wonderful, Aishwarya. He applied for the job. Great. So many people have responded. Very good. It is correct. He applied for the job. Yes, thank you. It is right. Okay, next one, you just need to change the word order. You don't have to remove anything. You just remove the question mark and change the word order and you will have a proper sentence. Yes, Aishwarya. Jyotika and Jana. That is right. He was congratulated by his friends. Last one is a WH question. It is asking, why are you late today? Why are you late today? You just remove the WH question word and change the word order. Word order on the mati, WH question word remove, you have a sentence, a plain sentence. You are late. That's right. You are late today. You are late today. Yes, Anjana, Jyotika, Rishmi, Shrishma. You are late today. So this is how we change a sentence from one form into another. So there is slightly more different changes that happen when you change a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. So this is what we did when we changed the questions into statements or statements into questions. These are the kind of changes that happen. Okay, we change the word order. Is this a pen becomes this is a pen. Suppose we have to change the statement into a question, the similar reverse change happens. This is a pen. I have to change it into a question. Is this a pen? And if so, that is an yes or no question. Suppose I want to change it into a WH question. I can add a WH question word here. Why is this a pen? Why is this a pen? So that is asking for an explanation. So I cannot say yes or no for an answer. So I can even change it into a WH question by adding a why there. Okay, so then it becomes, why is this a pen? So then you cannot say yes or no. You have to say this is a pen because it works with ink, and you cannot rub it off like a pencil mark. So therefore this is a pen. So that is a kind of question that is asking for some kind of explanation. See, these are the changes that happen when you use auxiliaries like did. First, you interchange the spacings. First, you write he did write the exam, and this did is avoided. We remove the did, and then add the tense to the main verb, and that is how we get he wrote the exam. Okay, so these are the changes that happen when you change the sentence from one form into another. In the case of reported speech, there are also certain changes that happen in the verbs. And let us look at what are those changes that happen when you report the verbs. These are the changes that happen. It is given in the box here. So the verb should go one step backwards. That is how it changes. Okay. That is one step backwards. It will, if it is present tense, it will go into past tense. Okay. That is the changes that happens with the verb. Present tense will change into past tense, and if it is past tense, it will go into past perfect tense. One step backwards. Present, if it is present tense, what will happen? It will change into, it will become past tense, and if it is past tense, it will go again one step backwards. Will go into past perfect tense. So this is how, these are the changes that happen. Because so in one example, I can show you one example here. In this example, you can see, look at that example here. My favorite film is on TV tonight. I love comedies. So this is what this lady, Mrs. Brown, says. So when somebody reports that, we say it like this. Mrs. Brown said that my becomes her, favorite film remains the same. Is the verb in that sentence. That verb changes into was. Okay, on TV tonight. Tonight means that night. So there is a change of that verb. And then again there is an I. So that I is changed into she. And love is in the present tense. Love is changed into past tense. She loved comedies. So the tense changes are, or the tense changes that has happened, is became was, is became was, and love became loved. These are the changes on tense that happened here. All the present tenses will change into the past, and all the past tense will change into its perfect form. And you can see that there is a connecting word that is used. If you look at that sentence also, Mrs. Brown said that. That is not there in the original sentence. Mrs. Brown said that. That is the word which connects. So that is a connecting word. What is that function? It is a connecting word to connect the statement made by Mrs. Brown to indicate who said that statement. Do we use that with all kinds of sentences? No, we don't use that with all kinds of sentences. We use that only with certain types of sentences. So let us come back to those four different types of sentences. Which are those four different types of sentences? The four different types of sentences are declarative sentence, that is affirmative sentence. This first category. Second category is imperative sentences. Okay. Then we have questions, and then we have exclamatory sentences. So that is used only with certain types of sentences. Let us see which types of sentences we use that. So here we have a table of what are the connecting words that we can use in reported speech. It is given in jumbled order. You have to match them correctly. For example, that is used with assertive sentences and with imperative sentences. Okay, so that is used with imperative sentences and assertive sentences. Can you look at the table itself and say that is used with imperative sentences as well as assertive sentences. Yes or no questions, we use if or whether. Okay, so assertives and imperatives use that. Yes or no questions use if or whether. Okay, then we have WH questions. WH questions use WH question word itself. Okay. And what is left? Yes, exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences use that. Okay. So exclamatory and assertive sentences, they use that. And yes or no questions use if or whether. WH questions use WH question word itself. And imperative sentences, they use to. I had written that here. Second. Affirmatory. Assertives and so this is the correct format. You have left out something. Imperatives we have left out. Yes, imperatives use to. Imperatives means requests or commands. They are called imperatives. So this is the table. Assertives and exclamatory sentences use that. Yes or no questions use if or whether. WH questions uses the WH question word itself, and imperatives use to. So this is the format of changing. What are the changes that happen? We look at the previous sentence that we shared here. My favorite film was on TV tonight. I love comedies. What are the changes that happen? We discussed noun, I mean, the verb changes, but this is not just the verb that changes. There are many other changes that happen. What are the other changes that happen? There is a change in the pronoun. Pronoun മാറിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. Okay, then the tense has changed. Tense change we discussed, and the time words also change, because the time words in this sentences tonight, that becomes that night. If it was yesterday, it would have become the previous day. If it is tomorrow, it would have become the next day. So all these kinds of changes will happen when we report a speech. And now let us try to do an exercise on what are the different changes. At least one or two sentences we'll do, just to understand the kind of changes that happen in tense. We are discussing just tense now. So can you tell me what is the correct usage on tense which we can use here? Rina asked me, can you help me with this problem? That is the direct speech from Rina. Direct speech is that. When I change it into indirect speech, how can I change it? Rina asked me if I dash help her with that problem. Will can get transformed? What will it get transformed into? What will happen to can? Wonderful. Can will become could. Exactly. Okay. Mary said, yes, thank you for those responses. Mary said, I don't like spicy food. Mary said that she dash likes spicy food. So with I, we use don't, but with she, we don't use don't, because uh, with she, we cannot use don't. We have to use doesn't. Very good. She doesn't like spicy food. Great, great. That is right. Now we have an yes or no question here. Yes, thank you for those responses. Celine asked Diana, are you at the office? Celine asked Diana, are you at the office? So the answer is already, I have highlighted it there. Yes, it is if. Another thing that I can use is, because there is no other option here, I can use if. Instead of where or are is not suitable there. If it was whether was there, I could use whether. Selena asked Diana whether she was there at the office. Okay. The next one is Sanjay asked me, what are you doing now? Okay, so those words are changing. What are the changes that happens with time? Sanjay asked me, what are you doing now? Sanjay inquired what I was doing. What does now become? What happens to now? Very good, Nandana. It becomes then. These are the changes that happen to time and to place. When you talk about time and place, these are the changes that happen. Now becomes then. Today becomes that day. This week becomes that week. അതായത് ഡയറക്റ്റ് സ്പീച്ചിൽ ദിസ് വീക്ക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇൻഡയറക്റ്റ് സ്പീച്ച് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും അത് ദാറ്റ് വീക്ക് എന്നോ, ഡയറക്റ്റ് സ്പീച്ചിൽ ടുമോറോ വി വിൽ മീറ്റ് ടുമോറോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ he said that we would meet the next day എന്നാവും ഇൻഡയറക്റ്റ് സ്പീച്ചിൽ. Yesterday will become the day before. Last week will become the week before. Then about places, here we will meet here. He said that we would meet there and now. The places also change. Here will become there. This will become that. These will become those. Okay, so these are the changes that happens with the place, etc. Now let us look at the structure, word order of certain sentences. That is also helpful to know. She said, where is the bus stop? So in a direct speech, it is okay to say, she said, where is the bus stop? But when you change it into indirect, we have to use a different structure. Yes, thank you for those responses. She asked where the bus stop was. Wonderful. She asked where the bus stop was. So what happened? We changed the structure of the sentence and we changed the tense of the sentence. So these are the changes that we change in structure. Structure എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ word order ആണ്. Second one is, yes, change in verb. Is became was. Change in tense. These are the two changes that we did. So she asked, and there is also a change in the connecting word. So instead of said, because it is a question, we change it into she asked. Okay, and the connecting word is the where itself. WH questions in the connecting word is WH word itself. The connecting word we have already discussed. 1 second. Here it is. This is the connecting words that we use. It is easy if you use these connecting words. So the passenger said, the next one, the passenger said. Again, it is an asking. You can say the passenger asked or the passenger inquired. So it is an yes or no question. Okay, this is an yes or no question. And for yes or no questions, the connecting word is either if or whether. if അല്ലെങ്കിൽ whether നമുക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാം to connect the word with the make it into a statement. The passenger inquired, yes, whether yes, it is B. B is the right answer. The passenger inquired whether the plane would be on time. So how do you know that? It is these are the rules. If you are using an yes or no question, you can use if or whether to connect. So what are the changes that happened? The will changed into would, and there is a connecting word whether which is used there. So here there is another sentence. He said the weather is colder than usual. So this is a present tense. So it goes one step backwards. That is, present tense becomes past tense. So this is simple present tense, so it becomes simple past tense. So that is the only change that happens in this sentence. Great. Yes, that is right. So he said that the connecting word that is used, that the weather was colder than usual. He said that the weather was colder than usual. Why did we use that? Because it is a plain statement, assertive statement. So with assertive statements, we use that. Again, another assertive statement. The beggar said, I am hungry. A is correct. The beggar said that he was hungry. The beggar said that he was hungry. Yes, thank you for those responses. Are you sure? Yes or no question. Are you sure? It's an yes or no question. For the yes or no questions, we have to use if or whether. Yes. സിയിൽ ഇഫ് ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ അതിൽ വേർബ് ഇല്ല. ഡിയിൽ മാത്രമാണ് വേർബ് ഉള്ളത്. സോ ആർ ബിക്കംസ് വാസ്, പാസ്റ്റ് സിമ്പിൾ പ്രസന്റ് ടെൻസ് പാസ്റ്റ് ടെൻസ് ആയി. യെസ്. സോ ഇഫ് ഷീ വാസ് ഷുവർ. If she was sure. So I asked her if she was sure, or I asked her whether she was sure. So I asked her if she was sure is the correct answer. The doctor told the patient. So this is an imperative question. I mean, an imperative statement. Imperative means it is a command or an order. The doctor told the patient, don't smoke. So imperatives, with imperatives, what do we use? To is used. To എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഇമ്പരറ്റീവ്സിൻ്റെ കൂടെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. The doctor told the patient, don't smoke. The doctor advised the patient, yes, C is the right answer, not to smoke. Not to smoke. Very good. Great. So a couple of questions or more. So fill up the correct forms of the verbs. Remya asked, can you meet me at Swami's cafe today? Remya asked if I dash meet her at Swami's cafe that day. So it is a transformation for this can. He can മാറിയിട്ട് വേറൊരു sentence ആയി മാറും. How can you change it into a different sentence? Can മാറ്റിയിട്ട് yes, very good. It is could. So can will become could. Great. That is correct. So these are the changes that happen. So there is a change in tense. Okay, there is a change in tense. Then we have changes in the time. Okay, so the pronoun will change, the tense will change, the time words will also change. So all these changes will happen. See, these are the changes that can happen. See, the verbs will change, the pronouns and possessive adjectives will change, some adverbs will change, now and there words. So I am watching my favorite program now. So Tom said that he was watching his favorite program. So all these changes will happen. There will be a change in the verb, there will be a change in the pronouns and the possessive adjectives, and there will be a change in the certain adverbs like now, then, ago, before, etc. So all these are the changes that happen. And if you can make these changes, if you can change the word order, if you can make the certain changes that are there, then it is easy to change a sentence from direct speech into indirect speech. What is its relevance for the exam? In the exam, you will get conversations. ഒരു സെന്റൻസ് അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ ഡയറക്റ്റ് ഇൻഡയറക്റ്റ് ആക്കാനല്ല പറയാം. There will be a conversation which is given, 4 or 5 sentences conversation, and we will have to change that conversation into an indirect speech. Conversation is always in direct speech, so we have to change it into indirect speech. It is a 5 marks question. There will be 5 different sentences which we have to change it into indirect form. So to quickly understand what are the different changes that we do with these kinds of sentences, let us now look at the text itself. There are certain rules that we commonly use when we change a sentence from direct into indirect speech. So indirect speech is also called reported speech. There is no difference between indirect and reported. They are the same. Report ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് തന്നെയാണ് indirect എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Reported speech is also called indirect speech. So in reported speech, what are the changes that we do? The first major change is that the inverted commas are removed. The inverted commas are reserved for direct speech only. Only for direct speech we use inverted commas. Those inverted commas are removed in indirect speech. Then the next major change that we do is that we use connecting word that if it is a statement. There are other connecting words which we use. If it is an yes or no question, we use if or whether. If it is a WH question, we use the WH question word itself. Exclamatory assertives മാത്രമാണ് that use ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Okay. And present tense will change it into its past tense form, and past tense will go and change into its perfect form. So how does it happen? I'll show you a sentence. Tom said, this is a past tense sentence. This is a sentence in the past tense. So when I change it, I cannot say Tom said that he was weak, because that is again in the past tense. So I will have to go one step backwards again. I have to change it into past perfect tense. So I have to say, Tom said that he had been weak. So Tom said I was weak is in simple past tense, so it becomes past perfect tense. How does it become past perfect tense? It says Tom said that he had been weak. So that is the third thing that we have to learn. Present tense changes into its past tense form, and past tense to its perfect form. So what happens to future? Future is indicated by will, and will become would. So I will come. Suppose somebody says I will come. How will I change it? Suppose that I is he or she. We don't know whether it is he or she. So he or she would come. So that is what happens to the future. So the future words are will. So instead of will, it is changed to would. Yes or no questions are reported with the help of if or whether. Any one of these can be used. ഒന്നുകിൽ if use ചെയ്യാം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ whether use ചെയ്യാം. If it is a WH question, what are WH questions? Who, what, which, when, where, why, and how ആണ്. H സ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് ഫോർ how. അതിൽ ഏത് വന്നാലും ആ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വേർഡ് തന്നെയാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇഫ് ദിസ് എച്ച് യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണെങ്കിൽ ഹൗ ഇസ് ദിസ് ഡൺ ആണെങ്കിൽ ഷീ ആസ്ക്ഡ്, ആ ഹൗ തന്നെ വീണ്ടും നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യും. ഷീ ആസ്ക്ഡ് ഹൗ ക്യാൻ യു കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ദിസ്. ഷീ ആസ്ക്ഡ് ഹൗ. There is a change which happens to is മാറും, is change, is മാറും, this മാറും, is മാറും, this മാറും. She asked how how is this done എന്നാണെങ്കിൽ how can I change it? She asked how that was done എന്നായി മാറും. Exactly, yes Rishma, how that was done. So why did it change like that? It changed because these are the changes that happen. So those changes will happen to that also. So that was done എന്നായി മാറും. So this is how we change a sentence from direct to indirect speech. So that is it. So we can do such exercises when it comes from the exam. If we follow these rules, it is an easy thing to do. We can easily score 5 marks. You can also score a couple of marks in the changing of one type of sentences into another, that is affirmative sentences or into questions, etc. So you get an application for this learning in 2 different spaces in the question paper. So you can score a lot of marks by learning this one section itself. So that is it. We will continue with the next topic in the next class. Thank you for joining. Have a nice afternoon and goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.